I love my Patreon supporters. Some of y'all got weird taste, though. Something a little bit different with this one. Italian Spider-Man. If you have not heard of this, this is a short film that was originally a fake trailer. And I guess it was actually originally released as like a bunch of very short scenes, but when you put it all together, it turns out to about a 37-minute long short film. It has nothing to do with Spider-Man. The character, like if you check it, it's actually not even hyphenated the way that Marvel's Spider-Man is. It treats it like it's his last name. And it's not Italian Spider-Man as in the Italian version of Spider-Man. It is said as if it is his name. Italian Spider-Man! And that's what everybody calls him in this. This is a parody movie it has a very odd and very specific target. It is a parody of the kind of cheap, schlocky action movies that were made in Italy 70s, I guess, was kind of the heyday for that, 60s, 70s. Not something I'm very familiar with. This was still kind of entertaining, though. It is a very difficult thing to make a bad movie on purpose. There's a reason that most of the truly great, so bad it's good movies weren't trying to be bad movies. The Room was not trying to be bad. It was trying to be good. It was just made by people who are completely inept. And when you get people who try and do that on purpose, for some reason, the thing that's leaping to my mind was the Velocipaster. I don't find entertainment in that. Honestly, I find that stuff really grating. You know, where people who clearly know better, who clearly know the correct way to do it, doing it wrong on purpose, and like, look at how silly and goofy this is. Like the sincerity in a genuine piece of bad art, like The Room, is key, or like Plan 9 from Outer Space. Like the sincerity of what was attempted is key to the enjoyment of it. Whereas the just snark and smarm that radiates off people who are clearly capable of doing something legitimately good, who are making a bad thing on purpose, it grates on me real quick. This manages to ride a line, probably partially because, so far as I can tell, the folks who made this might not have been better than what they put out. Like, they were very decidedly aping stuff that was bad, and they were trying to make it look like that. So it is technically bad on purpose, but it lacks the smarminess and the smugness that I get from people who like could definitely be doing this better. It's also very thorough. Its recreation. Again, I don't know a ton about the specific kinds of Italian movies that this is a parody of, but I have seen enough Italian movies from long enough ago to know that it recreates a decent amount of elements that are kind of staples of cinema from that part of the world from a certain stretch of like 30 years or so, where amongst other things, all of the dialogue is dubbed. But they don't make the mistake of doing what, like a lot of, again, people who theoretically know better, trying to parody this stuff, would do like, and have it be a deliberately bad dub where like the lips just don't match. Like that's what you get when you get like a dubbed over Japanese movie or whatever. But that's not what happens with older Italian films. They're dubbed because there was no live sound recorded on set. So what you get instead is characters who are saying the same thing that their lips are moving to say, but all of it is overdubbed. So there's a slight uncanniness. And the same thing is going on here. If you pay attention to the way the lips are moving, they are saying the same words in Italian, or at least some approximation of Italian. Don't know how accurate it is. It was made by Australians, apparently. But they're saying the exact same words that are being dubbed over, but it's still obvious just to the ear that it's dubbed. And they also go the extra mile that it's not just the lines, it's anything that would have been recorded on set. So like exertion noises or like reaction sounds or anything. And I feel like it feels like they actually knew to just record no sound live on set so that they so that they knew they'd have to do everything afterwards, because I feel like what could have been a very easy mistake to make would have been to just dub over the dialogue, but then the rest is just on-set sounds and then it's jarring. But like, no, it just becomes the soundscape that everything is overdone. And the humor, it feels like exaggerated for sure, but it feels like just close enough, or at least in the spirit of the kinds of things that like I've seen clips from some absurd, janky, low budget European movies, Italian in specific, or even from other places. So like, for instance, I think my favorite gag, and it's a little bit of a running gag. You have Italian Spider-Man. He's going to meet with the scientist, but before he gets there, in the hallway, there's this woman, and this guy's like, I forget if he slaps her ass or like he's accosting her. And Italian Spider-Man goes up and decks the guy and says, "Respect women." And then the woman says, "Thank you, Italian Spider-Man." And then he decks her and says, "You should be in the kitchen. Make me a macchiato." And then later she just shows up and gives him a macchiato. And the guy that Italian Spider-Man is talking to, who's her uncle, she's like, "Well, yeah, I forget what he says, but he says something like kind of pervy." I'm not even sure it's directed at her. Oh, it's not. It's about his assistant. He says something kind of pervy, and Italian Spider-Man like sips his macchiato and then decks this guy. Is like, "Respect women." It's so. I did get entertainment out of it. Like, for me, at the age I am now, I think that by the end it was slightly wearing on me. I'll tell you what, though, if this had existed back when I was in college, I would have ate this up. This would have been like my new favorite thing. I am old enough that this did not exist yet when I was in college, but because I'm old. But stuff like this, I would have been all over it. This would have been like my favorite thing for like 6 months if this had existed back when I was in college. And I could still just enough tap into who I was at that time to still get some enjoyment out of this. I haven't really told you about the plot. There isn't one, really. Italian Spider-Man is this overweight guy in this red shirt that just has a very crudely, like, Sharpied on spider-ish design on the front of it. He's got longish hair and a mustache, and in this mask, he is constantly smoking. He is needlessly violent. The effects on everything are done bad on purpose, but in a way that feels like they just made sure to limit what they had access to, so it was just going to come out bad on its own. So like, there's he and his villain, Captain Maximum. God, so dumb. They have like a surf off, and it's just so obviously a rear projection. But like, the fact that it feels like it's a rear projection rather than a blue screen, which would have been more advanced technology than an actual cheapo Italian action movie from the 70s or whatnot would have had. So instead, like, they have it as a rear projection. So yeah, of course it looks bad. They're straight up using the same techniques. And there's an odd, it's weird to say, but there's an odd kind of authenticity to the badness. It doesn't feel like as much of a putting on a show for the sake of mockery. This feels like it's done out of love by people who might have been early enough in their own careers to not actually be able to do something that much better than this, but chose to do this simply out of a love of this kind of weird niche form of entertainment. And I had fun with it. I had no idea what to expect. I really didn't. But it's available for free to see on YouTube. It's kind of been uploaded a few places. Sometimes in its entirety, sometimes in the pieces. But it is one of those things that is trying to be so bad it's good. And trying to do that on purpose very rarely works. I do think this was wise to top out at 37 minutes. Because as I said, it was starting to wear on me slightly by that point. But it didn't lose me completely. And I think if they had tried to make this feature length, it would have lost me. So I think this lasts just long enough for its premise to not completely lose me in this absurd, poorly shot, badly dubbed bit of nonsense. Yeah, I didn't know what I was gonna get, but I had fun with what I did. Italian Spider-Man! Have you seen this? What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills. It enables me to do this as my living, even if you can't help me out that way. Like, share, subscribe. Those all help. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Jared Boyce, Zubin Lafula, Auntie Kate 808, Mara G, Angry Casperol, Dave Hall, Oliver B, Mystic Shadow, Sean Miller, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Melissa Pedersen, Becky Sparks, Twilord, Tracy Scrabbit, Pal Barabajoggle, Magdalena, Sir Didymus is my favorite. And to thank some supporters from the lower tiers, thank you to Wordmaker, Lucy Llewellyn, and Beginner's Mind Podcast. And if you want to hear me say your name as well, you can check out the rewards on the Patreon, and there's other stuff besides. And it'll help keep these absurd creatures fed.